Program 2, See Through Angels' Eyes. This is a first of its kind series on certain selected higher and lower vibrating dimensions referred to by Christians as heaven and hell, and what it feels like to be in there with the help of Melissa, the cosmic science to be awake, but see and hear in other dimensions. In this second program of this series, we share wisdom on dimension -3 Darkside, known as DIKO, an eye-opener for many of us. Good day to our friends watching the Beramis Tower of Light programs. My name is Ibulama, or Nikita as most of you know me. Today we discuss the second of 7 new programs for 2024 titled See Through Angels' Eyes. With me is Zator, or Ernst Jordan as most people know him. Ernst is the CEO of Beramis Tower of Light here on Earth. In today's program, Ernst is going to share wisdom on the angelical kingdoms here on Earth, as well as in higher dimensions far away from Earth, as seen and experienced by Zator himself. 3 programs in this new series deal with information on selected light side kingdoms, 3 programs on selected dark side kingdoms, and 1 program that will be a surprise.
Yes.
Please help us reach other people who need this information by pressing the subscribe, like and share buttons, as well as that little bell icon to be in line for more of these programs. For more information on Ernst Jordan, you can visit our website, Beramis Tower of Light.
Thanks, Nikita, and hi to all the Beramis Tower of Light friends out there in advance. Thanks to the Beramis Tower of Light team who assisted in making this series possible. Who is the team? Pardon, the highest Toratre Yahweh Goria, our guides, and other unseen Hefkanams, gods, goddesses who guided us, Nikita, Ilaska, Kabos, or Parental as we know him, Floranza, Zontara, and myself. Thanks to all of you, Pelasa Toratre Yahweh Goria. To sum up what I explained in program 1 of this 2024 first series, the following facts are necessary to understand if you want to understand what I'm going to share with you in this specific program. There are endless light side dimensions as well as endless dark side dimensions. Each dimension houses its own 49 to the power of 49 and 49 to the power of 49 sub dimensions, with its own planets, its own psychic and spiritual higher or lower developed life forms and humanities. Yeah, it's quite something to believe.
Yeah,
we all believe it, but unless you've seen it, yeah, this is awesome. They live on planets, in the crust of planets, as well as in inner planets. What do we call these places here on Earth? It is Earth, inner Earth, and Agartha. Right, no human eye can investigate higher and or lower vibrating dimensions. If you can see in dimension 4, which is a crossing over dimension, it is only because you are partly psychically developed and see with your eyes as your first set of senses. Remember, it's not the body's eyes, it is you who give consciousness to the body's eyes. In one of the programs in last year's series programs, I named a few cosmic sciences recently so-called rediscovered by me, of which one science is named Melissa. As far as I know, the cosmic science Melissa is part of any philosopher's toolkit. Melissa is the cosmic science that I make use of to look and experience into much higher and or much lower vibrating dimensions, to see and experience as a consciousness-giving life form, as a vision there either in such a realm itself or on a planet in such a dimension realm. Now, to be able to tap into much higher or lower dimensions, I additionally use different frequencies of hertz vibrations. The reason is as follows. Remember, I am not the body of flesh you see when you look at me. I am the consciousness giving life form, giving consciousness to this body of flesh. I, as a consciousness giving life form, need to vibrate very high to see and experience other higher or lower, actually lower vibrating dimensions. The higher I vibrate as a consciousness giving life form, the lower my body of flesh vibrates. And if I must go to a dark side dimension, the body to which I give consciousness to, this body, will vibrate very high, while I will vibrate very low. This is awesome. It is part of cosmic science that I share with you. I know a lot of your shamans friends out there already know what we use to get that specific hertz, whatever.
Yeah.
You're in the front rows, my friends. I did not know in advance where exactly I would be allowed to experience what I needed to experience to compile this program, because I knew that this time, for the making of the second program, I was going to Darkside vibrating realm. I used brain waves to bring the hertz vibration of the body of flesh as high as possible, almost in a party mood. But you know, you must keep yourself. You will feel it is like your body wants to party, but you are in a very low vibrating state of mind. It's awesome to be part of this cosmic science by doing it and experiencing. Now, during each tap-in, we make use or sure that our house is sacred space. I paratos myself before I begin. This is standard procedure with the rest of the team as well. I mean, we will not even communicate two ways by means of certain instruments if we are not totally paratosat and the house is sacred space. Now, I mentioned a lot of what I saw during the past decades in the Beramis writings. What I'm going to share with you in this program is what I was allowed to see in dimension 0 minus 3. Hey. The true dark side is not what the Christian church mind controls her followers to believe. Satan is not your worst dark side enemy. Why? Because our third dimension swarms with demonic life forces invisible to the naked human eyes. Not to mention much higher dark side dimension fallen Hefkenams like Lefitadore, who is still situated in dimension or heaven 190 dark side. Unfortunately, his demonic legions are one of the worst sickening demons I've ever heard of and experienced myself. Ooh, that poison.
Yeah.
Some of them slip through dimension connecting portals and end up on Earth, where they spread many more illnesses unknown to mankind on Earth. In my practice here in Bloemfontein, South Africa, I treat people suffering from these poisonous demonic entities and their high dimension illnesses, for which the medical profession has no cure up to now. We have a cure for some of those illnesses. Now, Satan was degraded by the highest Toratre Yahweh Goria and was bound on earth approximately 201,365,130 years ago. Satan was the ruler of the planet Pentora, which is situated in heaven or dimension 22. due to the greatness of his by-trade, which was greater than his love for the highest Torator Yahweh Goria. Satan was degraded to dimension 3 and bound on planet Earth. He and some of his family members who were with him on board at that stage. Now in the Baltic Sea, there is an unknown so-called object looking like a spacecraft. I think many of you have heard of it. Maybe you saw pictures of it on the internet, YouTube, all those places, media. This picture, with hundreds of other pictures of the same object, swarm the internet and other media. Approximately 201,365 or 201,365,130 years ago, Satan was fleeing from planet Pentora in dimension 22. He was in his private interdimensional spaceship, and with him were a few sons and other family members. Some of the archangels chased Satan and forced Satan's spacecraft to crash on Earth, where Satan was immediately bound by the Most High Torator Yahweh Goria. When I saw these pictures of this object in the Baltic Sea, I thought to myself, can this object on the Baltic seabed be Satan's crashed spaceship? I consulted my guides and they confirmed that it was indeed a spaceship, a fallen spaceship, but not the spaceship Satan crashed on Earth. Now all power on earth was given to Satan by the highest of all gods, Torator Yahweh Goria, to give that power to whomever Satan knew would keep him in charge of all power on earth. During the Pisces time span of 2,000 years, Satan appointed one of his sons, Lucifer, to rule all Christianity on earth. People, this is general church history. You can go and research it in the church's own volumes and volumes of church history. On the internet are dozens of video clips that you can watch and listen to. Don't put it away and just decide for yourself it's fraudulent. It is not. Go and check it out. If you are mind controlled and you think that the general Christian church is the way to the true light side kingdoms of heaven, you are in for a very, very unpleasant surprise. If you serve the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, you are in fact serving Satan, Lucifer, and the demonic kingdoms. Go and check it out and take note of who the general Christian churches serve here on earth. What you see on the screen right now is only the tip of the iceberg. The internet swarms with enough video clips to convince you whether the Pope or some other high brass of the Christian church on television declare similar stuff. You're welcome to go and check it. If you're serious about your religion, you will go and check it. South Africa is a modern classic example. Before the 1992-94 general elections in South Africa, white people here were the only people who were permitted to vote during national elections. The reason? Blacks and browns were classified as third world people with the lowest IQ, not suitable to govern a first world white country. Therefore, they were not allowed to vote during national elections. The white South African government of the apartheid era was already a member of the one world Satan serving government and told the white people in South Africa that if they as whites voted yes for one man, one vote in South Africa, the Trinity God, known as the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost, will settle his kingdom in South Africa. You could go to the old newspapers of those times here in South Africa, you will see it. Almost 90% of all whites in South Africa who were Christians voted yes for one man, one vote, which included the black and brown races in South Africa. Today we can clear, what was the other thing, Nikita, you can recall? What? Okay, it was a little bit before your time, but I think you read about it. They said it was actually Dr. A.P. Treurnig of the Conservative Party. During one of his speeches, he addressed the people by saying, if you, people who are so mad about sport, want in the future to be part of international sport, rugby and cricket, you better vote yes. And they did, mentioned it to them, and that was the second reason why they voted yes. They exchanged their God and the cosmic laws for a new God and new human-made laws, just, for God, the Trinity God, to settle here in South Africa and to be able to be part of international sport. Now today we can clearly see what the Trinity God's kingdom, which was settled in South Africa, looks like, and how the Trinity God rules here. No cosmic laws are in place in South Africa, nor in the United Nations countries, of which South Africa is a member of. Only unfairness, murder, theft and corruption, with no love for true light side cosmic laws, or the highest Torah Yahweh Goria. According to what the African National Council stands for, blacks and browns have no love for white people, knowing the European and Western white people are classified as first world high IQ people, the true Israelites on earth, the true 12 tribes of Israel. Now that was also a very big fraudulent thing that the church did by declaring Esau, Edoms,
Oh my gosh.
Generations after him as the true Israelites. I mean, we're not all on that level of understanding. Now, the Pope is indeed correct when he praised Lucifer as the God of all Christian churches on earth. Watch the dozens of videos available on the internet and other media and see firsthand what God Christians serve in true reality.
Arist, how do Satan and his demonic legions rule here on earth?
Nikita, Satan himself rules the earth by means of the one world government in place. The World Bank is the sole property of Satan himself, governed by humans he as Satan appointed. Now all countries on earth, except for two minor countries, are members of the one world government. So by the way, the Vatican is also reckoned as a country, and he's one of the two who is not part of the one world government. Okay, you see how smooth everything goes for Satan. To keep the World Bank stocked with money, gold actually, what does gold stand for here in this one world country? Gold, oil.
Oh yes, yeah.
And what is the other one? The D?
Minerals.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, to keep the World Bank stocked with money, Satan's sons rule all banks on earth, medical hospitals, private hospitals, most of them, the media worldwide, all countries, economics, and of course the Christian churches, worldwide collecting tithes, of which a great percentage goes to the World Bank. The rest are gained through taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes, never ending. Now Satan has fallen gods and fallen heavenoms in place on earth to destroy countries by means of tectonic warfare. Yes, there are high-ranking army generals in place who can create, you must listen to this, enormous, unnatural man-made floods, earthquakes, tsunamis, droughts, etc., which they do. You can follow it up. I've got programs on it on our website, and you can follow up on the news, what happened on Earth, nature-wise, every week. Countries that are partly destroyed by these man-made unnatural disasters have two options, and that is to borrow billions of dollars from Satan's World Bank to rebuild their countries, or die from the results of these man-made disasters.
What about demons among us that we cannot see with our human eyes, although they influence our decisions and personalities?
Nikita, people who don't know the cosmic laws of the highest writer, Yahweh Goria, will not be able to identify Satan's laws. They will not know the difference. Furthermore, people who cannot identify satanic seed lines or demonic entities in people's bodies through these people's eyes will carry on the way they used to, only to find themselves as true Darkside representatives of Satan on earth. People doesn't want to believe it, but it is for their own sake rather to investigate and start believing it, because if you soul transfer one day, your chances are finished for this life in any case. Nothing on earth bothered those people. Here in South Africa, most white people live as if nothing is dark side around them. You know, Sunday they are still going to church, giving their orders for their gods. Do this and do that and bring the rain and go with this one and heal that one. You know, they are most of the gods, and the gods are their servants on earth. So nothing on earth bothers them. Here in South Africa, most white people live as if nothing is dark side around them. They don't even know the difference between light side and true dark side entities. They are psychically and spiritually blind. To a great percentage of them, they don't even bother about religion or anything. As long as they can live their lives according to what they need, they are in heaven number 7 according to them.
Yeah.
Here in South Africa, mind-controlled white Christians cannot see what we as psychic and spiritually developed consciousness life forms can see, due to their own choice not to develop psychically and spiritually. These people are in for a very unpleasant surprise the day they soul transfer.
Aaron's Beramis Tower of Light website swarms with more than enough true light side wisdom if people are interested in reading through it. It is their own individual choice. What about invisible demonic life forms in the atmosphere around us?
Nikita, invisible demonic life forms. Yeah. Psychically and spiritually developed people can feel different radiation vibrations around us. Can you? Of course you can. Can I? Of course I can. You? Of course. You, yes, they all can. So, we can feel demonic entities in or around us. You know, I think a lot of you people out there as well, if you go into a place and all of a sudden your neck hair stands on end, you get goose pimples and cold spots, you can feel there's something wrong. So you are a kind of psychic, just develop it. And all how you must do it is on the website, Beramis Tower of Light. We can feel the demons even in the atmosphere around us. Lucky for us, we shield ourselves from the inside to the outside with the purest, whitest light known to us. Visualize the arc welding in your heart and let it come out into the earth around you, form a shield, etc., etc. But the whitest, purest as you can get. We can fight off real demons because we study them as far as we can. We know and we share demonic information like we did in the Beramis Tower of Light series, Ancient Wisdom Secrets. If you have not watched it, please do. People have their own choices to decide on. These dark side invisible life forms in the atmosphere around us influence these people not to see what's really going on around them.
Arends, you tapped in to collect the contents of this second program.
Yes.
We were with you when you tapped in. What are you going to share about what you experienced with our viewer friends out there?
Yes, look it, I'm so glad we come to this part because, you know, we have preached and shared wisdom on physical demonic life forms. I mean, if people don't want to take it for serious, it's not for us. We know it already and we are prepared for it. They not. But I expect that for this second in-tapping, you know, I expect it. I was going to a dark side dimension realm because the previous one was in a light side. So this time I just had a feeling. As soon as I started to lift my human body's vibration. Why? Because the higher the body vibrates, the lower me or I as a consciousness giving life form can see and tap into. Yes. For me as a consciousness giving life form to vibrate lower, I soon found myself in a semi-dark cellar or a hidden room under a house or somewhere. You know, if you go into a very dark place that was closed up for quite a while, it feels like dusty inside. You breathe, you know, it feels as if whatever you are breathing in is itching inside you. It's something like this that I went through. Although the room was dark, you know, it was like something I lifted up from the floor and there was a hole. So I stepped down and the lid closed on top of me and I could still see a little bit, but you know, not very, not even as well, maybe one candle light. You know, this is what I could see. Although the room was dark, I saw an old leather comfort chair of years gone by. I could see that thing was definitely older than me, hope so. But in any case, it was brown in color and it was the only furniture I saw in that little cellar or room. I could see that the leather of the comfort chair was old and cracked. I thought I was in a dark side place and I withdrew to my body immediately. You know, it's so easy. As soon as you are in a place where you don't want to be, you can just think of where your body are situated at that time. In other words, here, so you just get the scenery and you will be, as a consciousness, being life form back in your body. Now the feeling, while looking at this dark cellar, in the dark cellar and chair, gave me a sickening feeling. As I said, you know, it feels as if if you enter, you are going to end up sick. A few seconds later, I focused again and I heard a woman's voice saying, "Remember that you saw an old comfort chair? You need to go back there and sit comfortably in that chair." Because of the woman's voice, vibration calmed me down. I did as I was told. You know, you immediately get a feeling. If it was supposed to be a Darkside voice, you know, which I actually expected, it would have given me goosebumps. It didn't. It was comfortable. Then I heard the woman's voice again saying, "You were led to use fire." Oh, you must listen to this, people. This is so beautiful. She said, "You were led to use fire as a focus point of concentration while you tap in." Meaning it could be a fireplace or a candle or whatever. In the true light side, fire cleanses. In true dark side, fire destroys. Isn't it beautiful to know? You as our friends out there should also remember this piece of wisdom. Now, Nikita, you know me very well. I will always paratosa myself before I tap in. I will also retola our cabin before I start channeling gods, etc. This time was no exception. During this paratosa session, I saw two satanic women entering the west portal leading to Satan's kingdoms. Through the Mageda eyes, you were also there. I told you what I saw.
Yes.
And yeah, this time, or during this paratosa session, as I said, I saw two satanic women entering the west portal leading to Satan's kingdoms. Now the woman speaking to me showed me that two women again. In other words, here in this portal somewhere I saw these two women that I saw during the paratosa, whom I recognized as two women that I knew many years ago. During the paratosa I didn't saw their faces, I saw their clothing and their bodies and length and whatever, and this time she let them face me. In other words, where did they went after the paratosa? Where I am now during this sitting, you know, there in that dimension. I saw their eyes, and yes, they are consciousness giving life forms, were pure satanic seed lines. They were not from the light side, not even from the grey side. I saw their eyes again, almost black irises. Now, don't think if you've got black irises, you are now from a satanic seed line. There's other things. There's a lot of people, even Hefkenams, with very dark irises. There's other things to look for, but in this case, when I looked into those two women's eyes, the radiation vibration convinced me this is satanic seed line. And the woman's voice, she confirmed it. I felt their radiation vibrations. Pardon. Then the scene changed again, and I find myself sitting in that old comfort chair in the dark room. As soon as I was seated in this chair again, I saw a long stretch of tunnel in front of me. You know, it was as if I was sitting in a big pipe or tunnel, and it just went on and on. I knew that this time I had to visit the dark side. I expected it, but now I was sure. I entered the long tunnel which functions as a portal to somewhere in the true dark side dimensions.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Were you not afraid when you entered that portal, knowing it was leading to a dark side environment? I'm asking it on behalf of our friends out there.
Yeah, I mean, you were there. No, Nikita, I trust my guides 100%. Also, I trust the voices that I hear. If a voice vibration is dark side, I will know it. So, yes, I wasn't afraid. You know, if I must have been alone there, finding myself without a guide, or so, whoa, yes, I think I would have been a little bit startled. But they will never do that. They will always send somebody with you. If the High Sorata Re Yahweh Goria wants me to explore somewhere in the Darkside realms, I will do so without fear. Don't fear, Nikita, the best is still to come. As soon as I reached the end of that tunnel, I saw a fire again. In the burning coals, I saw a Darkside Tutankhamun. You remember Tut? As we always refer to him as Uncle Tut or whatever. Now I saw his opposite there. This was the first Darkside entity I saw. This radiation, or his radiation vibration, made me hold my breath. I asked, what is the meaning of this? Because how can this, I could see this is a fallen Tutankhamun, but where did it come from? The woman's voice replied, the most light side Hefkanam's gods, goddesses, and higher up in the hierarchical structure of the deities have identical opponents in the dark side. They showed me what Tutankhamun's opposite looked like. I looked again at this opponent of Tutankhamun, and I realized that I saw something similar in a children's comic book that I watched years and years ago. I will not forget that face there. I cannot recall the name of the book because I was still a child when I saw it, but there was a sketch somewhere. It looks very not brotherly but familiar. The one is familiar to the other one. Now these dark side opponents has fallen, Hefkanam's fallen, gods fallen, goddesses and fallen, angels created, legions of demonic life forms that are constantly at war through human bodies on earth, as well as in the atmosphere around us, and also on other planets and in other higher vibrating dimensions, schools of learning, etc. They as fallen Hefkanams, etc., want to destroy all light side Hefkanam seed lines on earth, as well as on other light side planets. They want to destroy all remembrance of the true light side Hefkanams, as well as that of the highest Toratri Yahweh Goria on earth. They do it every day, and we can see it happen around us. Less people are true, less people are true light side representatives. There are such a domain of them, and we can see it on earth. They don't want, there's always this what do you call it, the rational thinker people, like the scientists. Man, it's not our problem if they cannot see further than the third dimension. We can, and a lot of other people can also. So don't tell us what we see. We know what is, you don't. So
Arends, were you not afraid there?
I don't become more horrible. No, Nikita.
That.
During that in-tapping, I saw what I saw, but not for a second did I feel afraid at all. Not even when they allow me to feel each place's radiation vibration. You know what they do? I think I was covered in a kind of a shield, invisible to any eyes, but when we entered there, and you will hear about it in the forthcoming programs also, if they want me to experience what I see, to see something is it is the same. You look at what other people are experiencing. You are not there. You are not in their bodies to feel it. And there's a big difference. If you look into, let's say, a squatter camp for one reason, you can sit and you can watch it in full color and decide for yourself while sitting here in a beautiful environment. Yeah, shame, I wonder what they did to end up there. but my friend, to be one of them. Then you will know your own answer, what it is to be there. And this is the difference for people otherwise listening and don't know what I experienced. If I refer to what I experienced, they will let the shield down, and for a few seconds I will be a normal human soul or whatever, just to feel what is that realm feeling like. You know, that is, this is heavy. You know, today I can kind of not laugh at it, but you know, if you think this is not hell, I mean hell, the real hell is in those dimensions, is in dimension 6 realms, you know, there where all those horrible places are, where you can find yourself. But this is dark side dimensions, and it is, to me, it's part of the dark side, the greater unity of dark side. And it is not a nice feeling, you know, to feel. But if they drop the shields for, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's back again. You are already frightening, in tears, whatever. You cannot believe what it feels like there. Then they showed me how light side Hefkenims and gods fight their opponents on earth, as well as how little certain humanities on earth are willing to do to fight of evil. They don't use a lot of energy or effort. They see the dark side around them. It doesn't worry them. It is as if certain humanities don't care at all. Due to their own choices to follow Christianity, they live comfortably among the dark side representatives on earth. I felt ashamed on behalf of the white humanities when I was there, because what did I see? I saw them ending up, there were a lot of them, and I could experience what are they going to experience for a long, long time. I mean, 1 hour away here could be 100 hours there. 1 day gone here, 100 there, or 1,000. I must emphasize the feeling of that whole dimension realm. You know, that to be depressed means that you suffer darkness due to the absence of true light side gods and angels near the depressed. The difference is still, here on earth I can feel depressed, or you or anybody, but that feeling that you experience is still among our other light side radiations, which softens your experience. This is one of the big things I learned when I was there. It's two different feelings, experiences. You cannot even compare the two. You know, to be the worst depression person on earth is still among other radiation vibrations of light side. So it's not so bad. Take that same person there. Hey, my friend, then you will see what is depression. You know that to be depressed, what it means, I've just told you now. Now mix manic depression, the top depression that you can get, the most worst depression. Mix that with the worst sick or sickening feeling you ever experience, where you can feel your whole body is going to die down now. And you know what it feels like in that dark side realm. Now, I mean, hello, I don't want to sound funny, but this is just dimension 0 minus 3. This is not even if you go up in the ranks. Ooh, can you imagine what it must feel like in lower and or higher vibrating dark side dimension realms? You know, we did this in the 7th month, and it is now, tomorrow starts November. It took me quite a while to get over or out of this bardo that I went in after this. You know, there's so many new stuff that I had to learn, but the biggest or the most difficult part is to explain it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I'm serious. I tried, but it took me months just to try and explain it. Suddenly I was back in that old comfort chair again. I was told to relax and stare down the tunnel that was in place once more. And what do you think went through my conscious mind? Am I going to see that old Tutankhamun's opposite Darkside again or what? No. Then I found myself in another true Darkside place on Darkside planet, somewhere in this zero or dimension 0 minus 3. As far as I looked, everything was in a mixture of dirty colors. You know, a dirty color to me is dirty looking.
Yeah.
Even the atmosphere can be dirty looking. And the radiation vibration there was even more sickening. You know, if you are comfortable in, let's say, aircon controlled environment for a year, you never go out there, and all of a sudden you go out of that place and you enter a minus 60 degrees and you have to inhale that. What are you going to feel inside after 3-4 inhalations? You know you're going to die.
Yeah.
That is what you feel there. There's no way you are going to die. But the fact is you cannot die there. The feeling just enhances more and more. And these people don't realize it. You know, in that dirty color environment, I saw distorted life forms that I never thought existed. My guide refers to these distorted life forms as hybridized blobs. B-L-O-B-S. Hybridized blobs. The one blob looked like a big tortoise. You know, I'm talking about a tortoise. But he had 3 heads. And he was struggling to get out of a slimy substance where he couldn't breathe, you know, and you see this and you still in your shield, it bothers you, but I mean you don't feel it. But to see how those blobs suffer there, all these distorted hybrid blobs, radiation, vibration were dark side and extremely to the power endless sickening. I don't know what is the most sickening feeling to compare this with. It does not even exist on Earth. It is cold there and it is really sickening. You know, you are... On one of these planets in the dark side dimension, human souls end up practicing maledictions and curses on Earth. So please people, I ask, who end up here? You know, why am I seeing it? What can I do with this information? People would like to know who ends up here. It is people who used maledictions and curses on Earth. You know, not the word F or something like that. If you wish a negative wish upon somebody, then you're in for a surprise. You know, first little of slimy substance that's going to make you cannot breathe. And no, never do it, because why? If you think of it, why will those people end up there? Because what they wished for other realized, it materialized. And a sum up of that, what those people experience, will now be for you to experience there. It is fair. The scales must be, those people were there, you were there, now you will be there and they will come up, you know, somewhere there. But the feelings, you know, and then human souls who end up there have all these blobs as company for eternity. There must be a question mark. It's not to be eternity. Their eternity and our eternity differs. You know, our eternity, if I could slow it down or something, let's say eternity was one with, let's say, 20 billion zeros. That one will have 20 billion to the power of 20 billion. You know, it's too high. In another section of this dark side place on this planet, that specific planet, I saw even bigger demonic-like distortions. You know, I'm so glad they started with the smaller ones and then slowly introduced me to them. And it's not the power of those demons, what they can do, it's their radiation vibration that you feel. This is what you are going to feel for eternity if you join this guy. So, in another, yes, I saw even bigger demonic distortions. They looked more horrible than any distorted demons I had seen up to then. And believe me, long before this tap-ins, my guide Darkside showed me horrible demons, you know, to learn, to feel what they feel if they are in a person's body, so that you can identify. There I suddenly remember the place I refer to as the Ward of Wisdom. It's not the original name, I just mentioned that name, yeah. I visualized the inside of this ward in my brain and asked the ward where I was and what I was looking at. The voice answered as follows. You see, in a certain section of an obscure dark side dimension, what you are currently seeing is distorted human thoughts in manifestations, as well as distorted expressions on human faces due to distorted satanic and demonic thoughts and rituals these people did while in human bodies on earth. They are now where they fairly deserve to be after their bodies of flesh expired and they soul transferred. This is where they end up. They are now where they fairly deserve to be. They wished other people bad luck and distorted futures while they were on earth. Now they are accommodated in these distorted thoughts and that materialized. You know, if you say to somebody else and you mean it, you will never experience true love on earth. You're actually summoning demons to see that your wish is being granted. Now what that person is going to, till the day that he or she dies, experience, on whose book is it? Your book. So what is going to happen? Where are you going to end up? You know, people in Christianity are too eager to sin because somebody has died for their sins long ago. We can do what we want. You know, I mean, doesn't make sense, but in any case. Once again, a horrible feeling of depression and illness, like a cold fever inside your whole body. If you can, I had cold fever a lot of times in my life. And I can assure you, multiply it with 10 million, the feeling, and then you can start with the lowest feeling there. It is absolutely horrible. Then I saw demonic eyes in human-like bodies on earth that I had never seen before. My guide let me feel their radiation vibration, and yes, that is scarier than when you face a murderer who is about to murder you. Their faces were distorted and filled with fear. You know, on earth they Yesterday we saw a program of a person who killed people in America in one of those endless woods or forests. And I mean, it's for miles and miles and miles, and they, you know, that one, let's say it was Road 112. And then years after, so many people got missing, a very evil kind of looking person with one teeth in the middle of his mouth start laughing, and he called himself 112. So, you know, they use faces to try and scare you off, which is mostly true, but people they don't. If you can imagine, you are going to die. This guy is going to eat your life or something, you know. Something, the most horrible death you can imagine. If they drop my shields for 4 seconds, ooh, you know, I don't want even to think back to what I felt there, because it's horrible. I don't wish any life form to end up there, and I mean, this is only the starting point. I knew that during the forthcoming bloodbath on Earth, the Third World War, I would see some of these faces and similar again on television, as well as firsthand. Now, this was done long ago, and what did I tell you 2 or 3 nights ago about we watching this war between Israel and all those surrounding countries? Of course, it started. I could see. That is why I said, go watch this program. You will see a light side in this one. If you see the others, you will see one of Satan's high sons in that one. Yeah, it was still a dream. A few months later, we start seeing it now.
Yeah.
Everything I saw anywhere in this dark side dimension radiates a sickening, negative, God-forsaken vibration. A light side God-forsaken vibration. You can feel Satan around you. He's also a God. But if you take all the light side vibrations away, then you are in for a feeling what I experienced there. A real nest of depression and true light side God forsakenness. Then I saw a black wolf. Can you imagine? You also love wolves, and you also, Bebazola. Then I saw a black wolf on once again another planet. My guide showed me that black wolves are normally extremely rare on Earth and are beautiful, as well as extremely intelligent. They are like black cats. They are a little bit more intelligent than other cats. Although that specific wolf, that one, was a dark side infected wolf with a dark soul. I didn't know that animals could also, I know for dogs, you know, they can be demonic possessed.
Yeah.
Or even other animals, but I didn't know this, you know, that a wolf can be, or a dark side, something could be attached to a wolf and then grow in his body to make him evil. You know, that's horrible even to think of it. The consciousness giving life form, giving consciousness to that wolf's body was Darkside created. Now on Earth, the psychics who can see these demonic wolves named the chupacabras. They named them chupacabras. I saw them firsthand. They can shapeshift from chupacabras to humans or to other animals. You know, one day Isai, one of the first guide I have, the shaman, he told me while the body was asleep into a realm where in those days I didn't know this name, you know, chupacabra. He gave me another name, but I was horribly afraid because I was shielded, but I didn't know it. And there was his eye, And here, man, that wolf is like this, you know, it's big. And the hair on its back here were like, what is the fuck?
Spikes.
A porcupine spikes. You know, it is you cannot imagine what that wolves look like. And they were demonic entities. And they can shapeshift. So I think that was why even the dark soul wolf with the blood red eyes didn't scare me. I had a feeling that I was there to learn and that no life form there could harm me even if they wanted to. I was asked to visualize the old dust cover, comfortable chair in the dark cellar room again. I did so and find myself back in that old dust cover chair, which also felt cold and true, light side, God forsaken. Now remember the last time I visualized my body and I ended up here. Now there I ended up there in the beginning of the tunnel, in that thing. This was also the first time something like that happened. I usually end up here, but now I ended up there in the cellar, not in the body of flesh anymore. This time there was no tunnel. I think this is the result of it. This time there was no tunnel in place in front of me, just a landscape on a planet elsewhere in this dark side dimension. The only way I can describe it is to compare it with a lifeless, frozen in time landscape. It is lifeless, frozen in time. I saw trees covered in thorns without leaves on. But first of all, before you out there start imagining a scene like this, just feel totally light side, God forsaken. In other words, manic depressed. And now start seeing stuff like this. Then you will see what I mean. Everything is frozen in time. I first felt the scene, which is horrible, 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 few levels higher than the previous one. And then I realized it was frozen in time. In this lifetime, or lifeless, frozen in time landscape, I saw trees covered in thorns without leaves on. The ground was covered with a dirty yellow, approximately 12 inches high, dirty yellow grass like this. Well, the shrubs was like this about, but you know, here and there, not so much. Then I heard, if a human soul ends up here, he or she is truly alone, with an abandoned feeling, which will not change. This is all they will see and feel. They will not see any other human soul here, although there are other human souls there or here. These human souls cannot see one another. They vibrate differently. So, you know, if you want to be God forsaken, I mean, you want to live a depressive life, you're suffering from depression, you don't believe in demons to let it get out of your body, what is your choice? The wisdom is available. You don't want the wisdom because you don't want to believe in it. It's not part of your satanic church, whatever. And now you die depressed. Well, where are you supposed to end up? Do you think you are going to hide? No, never, never. This is why this was also news to me, you know. We cannot decide where a specific person will end up. But this is an indication. You know, the first episode gives the indications where you go. This gives the indications what it feels like in the dark side. Once again, the scene changed, and heard the guide refer to this place unfolding in front of my eyes as a camp of depression. You know, if they say a camp of depression, you imagine a camp where ordinary earthly people go to camp.
Yeah.
This is not the same camp. I think it was on the same planet, maybe. Everything there is in various shades of pale dirty grey to pale dirty grey blue. You will have to go and sit and imagine something just to focus what it is. Where I stood, I could hear the wind howling around the corners and through the slots of an old, partly overgrown and partly demolished, abandoned farmhouse kind of thing. Once again, the sensible vibration was God, light side, God forsaken and sickening. In other words, horrible. I saw a stoop partly on the one side of this God-forsaken abandoned house. The porch of this dilapidated house color was a faded red with grey areas. The guide indicated that this place is such that even if you walk 1,000 miles in a specific direction, you will end up at the same place, at this God-forsaken farmhouse. I felt depression in a more extreme form than before, which would cause anybody there to commit suicide. My guide informed me that even if a human soul ends up there and wants to commit suicide due to the light side God-forsakenness of this place, they will not in any way be able to commit suicide. They will stay alive and they will stay there, because this is what they preferred to be like when they were still in a human body. Help was there, they didn't believe in help. Their choice. And that one choice, look where they could end up. Sorry. Thanks for all this beautiful knowledge. Now I asked why, and the answer was that depression is nothing else than God-forsakenness, light side God-forsakenness, and the result of people choosing to be their own gods on earth. Afterward, not being able to face problems arising from their own God, being their own God on earth. You know, people out there, and Nikita and all of you, it is what people are choosing. They want to be in the steering wheel of their own lives. They don't want to know and do what a God leads them to do, a light side God. No. It's my life, I will do whatever I want. That kind of attunement. Now, if you are your own God, why do you want a God the day that you die? Stay where you are, go to a place where you can rule over yourself. Now, I was advised to think of the old chair in the cellar again. I did so and found myself back in the old dust-coated chair. Now, at that first point, I just imagine, okay, I'm in the chair, not in my body, but in the cellar. And it was not as just previously when all of a sudden, you know, I find myself actually, the lights went on and there was something. This time I was advised to think of the old chair. Okay, I find me there. I did so, and I looked in front of me, and out of the dark in front of me. The previous time everything was in place already. This time it was dark. Manifested different clowns. Now this is so horrible. Only their faces were visible to me. They were Enochian Darkside clowns. Have you ever heard of the Enochian witchcraft, Enochian demons, all that rubbish? When I I was way in my research in demonology. I find myself with a book of Enochian magic in my hand. And there was a long list, you know. Let's say the name was Jan, or John. Let's say John. No, it's let's say Johan. what is a name that you can use in reverse as well. And when I saw this name wasn't a good name, I don't want to use any of those names now. I just read it in reverse. And what is it? What is Christians all about? I was a Christian at that time, and when I reversed the name, let's say the name was Jan and now it was N-A-J. This face appeared right in front of me, and it was one of these. And I couldn't sleep. I had to go and see a psychiatrist after a week. I couldn't sleep. I was prepared to end up in a madhouse or something, you know, to put me out to do something. I cannot get rid of this. Luckily, somebody told me how to reverse the spell, and I did it. This was long before I discovered Beramis. They were ordinary. I swallow actually if I think of that face, you know. It is, you know, to see it is something, but to experience what you feel, the radiation vibration of those faces. They were ordinary red and white painted clown faces, you know, what we usually saw with the red nose and the red hair or whatever. Very high eyebrows. As well as black and white painted clown faces, which I could see. I never saw black or white painted clown faces before. What I saw was super scary, and the sensible radiation vibration of these clowns was more horrific than ordinary Enochian Darkside clowns, which I knew due to my research. In that place I wasn't scared of them, although I was terrified on earth when I met one of them for the first time. The guide with me informed me that these Enochian clowns can and will take you as a human soul if you are not shining out pure white light. Some of them will visit you while the body of flesh you give consciousness to is asleep, and you are outside the sleeping body. If you don't radiate enough pure white light toward them, they will take you and replace you with a dark side soul. They eat you as a consciousness-giving life form. Nikita and friends out there, I know of similar demons who need or feed on earthbound human souls. They will eat you as a human soul piece by piece, which only leaves you more powerless. They eat away the different sub-components, and sub-components you are made up of as a consciousness-giving life form. You know, it's like small little computer programs. This day you cannot understand anything now. All of a sudden, there the lights go on. The little program has been implanted, and there we go. This refers to the second death. This where they eat you up. Refers to the second death we read about in the Christian Bible. Now please share this program with as many as possible, and Nikita, that is all.
So in the third program of this first 2024 series, we share information on dimension 80 as well as 10 in the true light side dimension. Ernst, thank you for sharing this needed information with us and our psychic and spiritually growing friends all over the globe. I know that whoever needs this info will get this info.
Nikita, to me it is a great privilege to share wisdom with whoever needs wisdom. All thanks to the highest orator Yahweh Goria, who allowed me to visit these places in the first place. Thank you. Thanks to all the guides and deities who assisted me in gathering this information. And thanks you, Nikita, for presenting this program
it's an
with
honor.
me.
Thank you. It's just a privilege.
Until we meet again in 2 weeks' time, please share and subscribe. Until then, love and life. Love to you all. Bye.